Hello, this is Graham from Gramophones, and this is my KB Discomatic that I've been restoring over recent times. It's now as complete as it's going to be for the moment. It's all working. I say as complete as it's going to be for the moment because there are always little idiosyncrasies with these things. A machine that's 50 years old that will pop up that will need addressing over time. But for the moment, it's working to my satisfaction. Now you can read all about the Discomatic on my website at www.gramophones.co.uk. That will explain a little bit more about it. But I wanted to, in order to complete that page, just do two videos. The first one, this one, which will deal with the general operation of the Discomatic, and a second video that I'll be posting, which will deal with my top 10 common problems with the Discomatic. It is full of little idiosyncrasies, and I've learnt a lot in restoring this machine. I just wanted to pass that information on to others if it would be any use, really. So, the Discomatic and its operation. Now, the opening and closing, it sounds silly, doesn't it, this? But generally we get a record player or whatever and we open and close it, and it's not a problem. It's very easy. With the Discomatic, it can be quite complex. So what I'll do, I'll show you how you open it. I'll then play a record or two, and then at the end I will show you how you close it. But looking at the controls down here, on the far left we have a lid release. Then there is a start lever for the actual mechanism to move to play the record. The selector buttons, the beige ones do the right hand side of the record. The grey ones select the left hand side of a record. There's a black button there that will cancel any selections that you make. And finally, the end red button is to reject the play of any particular record that's playing at that present time, so you can cut it off before the auto trip comes into operation. Opening up is probably the straightforward bit. There are two swivel catches at the side, and this lifts. Now, as this lifts, you'll see this acrylic tray here starts to ride forward, and you'll hear a clunk. There. That clunk is the locking mechanism just getting into position, and it's releasing actually the mech so that it's free to move up and down the carriage. The mech is locked in position on lid closure to stop it obviously moving around when the machine is being transported. So that's it. Now what I'll do at that point is just close down, because whilst the normal playing position for the Discomatic is with the lid closed, you can't really see much happening. When you lift the lid, because there is live mains electricity in there, it closes off the power by activating a micro switch at the back. In fact, I have read somewhere when I was finding out information, some guy said, "Oh, I've lifted the lid and it's not working anymore, so I don't know what's happening." Well, basically what he's done is disconnected that micro switch. So I'm going to have it running. I'm going to deactivate that, well, basically fool it into thinking the lid's shut, and then we'll come back and have a look at it working. Right, so here's the inside of the Discomatic. As I said earlier, I've deactivated, well, not deactivated, I've fooled the micro switch into thinking it's the lid is down. And I'm going to select the beige button on record number 40. That's the one nearest to us, the last one in the stack. It takes 40 single records, which it can play both sides. So by picking the beige button, the mechanism should play the right hand side of that record. Now to start it, I go to the black lever that we looked at earlier and just give that a little push, and off goes the mechanism. Okay, so there you can see the mechanism's moved along, picked up the record, is now merrily playing that right hand side. What I'm going to do now is just shut down, and we'll come back just before that record is about to trip. Okay, the record is coming to the end of its play now. And it switches off. Now, I will talk about that last part of the process, that switching off, in the video of 10 common problems, because one common problem is that often that doesn't work. Anyway, what I'll do now is shut down, close the lid, and then we'll go through the closing of the machine's process. So now that the Discomatic's finished playing its selection, the mechanism is on the left hand side, right over to the left. When it reaches the far left, that mech actually trips a plate in the closing mechanism that allows the lid to close. Now, I'll talk about this more in the second video, but often that there is a fault with that, and you'll find you can't actually close this without distorting part of the lid and breaking it. What you need to do is to push in the lid release fully. When that is done, what that is doing is actually that is now releasing the lid and allowing the mechanism to be kept in position by a plate that moves into a shaped hook, I suppose you'd call it, that is fitted to the mech. I will show you that later in the next video. But with that button in, you can now close that lid, and once there, press down, and that's it. Everything is now shut down. A word about opening cover. A word about the lid. Originally, there would have been a strip of foam on the inside of that as the lid moved back and down, trapped the records in their rack. I wouldn't recommend keeping if you're going to carry it, keeping your records in there. It's not a good idea, and certainly the pressure of that foam strip onto those records can distort the rack, which could cause further problems that I'll mention in the next video. So basically that's it. So I'll just close that down again and lock that up, and that is the KB Discomatic. Well, I hope you found that useful. From this video, go on to the second one and have a look at what I believe are 10 common problems with the KB Discomatic. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye-bye.